Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another CineKuest video discussion of a weird type of science film. And today we're going to be talking about 1996's Multiplicity.
Bleeding edge technology. That's
Yeah.
what we're dealing with.
And cinema technology too, apparently.
Oh yeah, good point. I mean, there's a lot of weird, funny. So okay, yeah, go ahead.
This is starring Michael Keaton, the national treasure, Michael Keaton. Andy McDowell. Did we talked about Groundhog Day not too long ago, so she starred in that as well. They do have some other people in here. Eugene Levy.
Yep.
Harris Yulin. He plays Dr. Leeds, which is the doctor that does the cloning. We also have Richard Mauser. I believe he's the guy. I feel like I've seen him in a bunch of movies, but I think
Mauser.
I think he comes out in it.
Is he the inspector? The building inspector?
He's one of the guys that I think it's Michael Keaton's boss.
Oh
yeah, he was Dell.
Yeah, Dell. Yeah.
And then we had Q in this movie.
Oh yeah, as the douche. What was his name?
Delancey, Delancey. John Delancey, I think, is his name. But he played can't remember his name in the movie, but
that's what I'm trying to
the thorn in the side of
Ted. He's got an asshole name, Ted, you know.
Yeah, it is an asshole's name. I mean, no offense to any non-asshole Teds out there, but you know.
Roland did mention the guy who's actually the building inspector, which comes out later in the movie, and he only comes out for a short period.
Yeah,
is the guy that plays Othos from
Yeah, he was the clairvoyant or whatever the fuck dude, or
right.
Or no, he wasn't. He was sensitive, but he wasn't like particularly clairvoyant or whatever. Like he's the one who did the seance, I think, in Ghostbusters or Beetlejuice. Jesus,
yeah, he's the one that did the seance.
Yeah, he's got a few other cameo. Co-star roles. I don't know. I always thought he was cool, but yeah, his name escapes me, and I'm not seeing him here on the list though.
Right, so this movie was directed by Harold Ramis, as most of you might know him as Egon in Ghostbusters. Also directed Groundhog's Day, so it's doesn't seem out of place to see a lot of the same folks come into this one, because we also had
Andy McDowell, who was in Groundhog's Day as well.
Right, Brian Doyle Murray, which is Bill Murray's brother, was Walt. He was the guy who was doing the sailing. He was in there as well.
Okay.
And he was also in Groundhog's Day. He was the mayor, I believe. Off recording, we did bring up the fact that Michael Keaton was offered the role in Groundhog's Day.
Yes,
I kind of thought
he was considered for it, and as well as in The Fly, which will come up a little bit later, but it's just kind of interesting how these are pretty hyper relevant.
Who do you think would have been better in Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray or Michael Keaton?
It would have been a very different movie, obviously, with Michael Keaton. But I mean,
we could have gotten the frantic Keatonisms, though.
Yeah, I would have. I think I would have liked it better.
It would have been
same day. Oh, shit, that's my headphones there.
Very Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Well, no, or just freaking out as he freaks out as Doug 1 whenever the clones are being stupid or whatever. He just is like. As I was talking to Janelle and Roland last night about it, where it was just like it reminded me of his role as the police captain in The Other Guys.
Right. Like, you make all those TLC references and shit. And, like oblivious TLC references.
Now I want to watch that just to fucking see him.
That's how great.
We watched it like 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. We went on a Feral Fest at one point, and it was.
It is pretty great. What is it? What you thinking? What I'm thinking? Aim for the bushes. Yeah.
Smack.
Fucking assholes. Yeah.
So when was the first time you all saw Multiplicity?
Boo. So like I explained it to you a bit earlier, and Daniel, Ray, that I thought I'd seen this movie in clips or anything like that, but no, I just thought I had because I picked it up and looked at it, the video cassette or something like that at some point. I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is, and I was right mostly, but I was wrong in that for some reason, because I keep forgetting it's directed by Harold Ramis. I was expecting to get really dark, like really fucking like just shitty and for everyone or whatever, and like it ends with like all the Dougs, killing each other, something like that. I'm not sure.
It's a mass suicide. It's the only right thing to do.
Murder, suicide.
It's the final solution. No more Dougs.
Yeah, exactly. And I was wrong, but it was great because it was funny, and it was a lot like, I guess, Ramis' other sort of movies where there are some very heavy main themes, but for the most part, like it
fairly lighthearted.
Yeah, it's very lighthearted.
Yeah.
It stays that way, rather keeps that tone.
I mean,
this was my first time. This was my first time actually seeing it.
We have someone who's cloning themselves apparently for free. And regularly.
It's not stated, but how,
right?
Because they reference because Doug 1 does ask the cloning doc, how much this is going to cost or whatever. And I think there was something like it was affordable, was kind of thrown around. And then, but definitely when they got to Doug 4, that was, they talk about how they got a great discount on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're making a copy of a copy or whatever. Yeah. That one didn't come from, copy of a copy of a copy. Excuse me.
I noticed, I go, what's the thought process of the doctor who's doing the cloning? Because they mentioned that, he loved it because it's very experimental. And I'm like,
yeah, exactly. He loved the idea.
He's literally
creating shit. He's just fucking around. Exactly. Oh yeah, cool.
Human being just for shits, see what happens.
So, Ray, what's your history with this movie, man?
With me?
Yeah, I was gonna kick it.
I've seen it when it first came out. I remember on HBO watching like a making of it because they were mentioning how, I mean, this kind of technologies.
How they were using like practical effects with the movie effects to make it seem
right. I mean, because if you've seen it in Back to the Future,
Michael Keaton is in the room with himself.
Yeah, and he's doing it so much, like that seemed to be a good thing, but it didn't. That's what I remember it from, like probably when I was late 96. That's like middle school, I think.
I saw it on HBO around the same time as well. Like I remember, like when it was like a new movie on HBO or whatever, and watched the crap out of it, and then just it's set for years and years. It hadn't been probably since then since I watched it. But one cool thing about the production of this movie, I found this neat little trivia bit. The scene where Doug 1 gets tossed a beer by Doug 2. Evidently, the beer toss was so perfect that they were able to save money on the post production, because they were initially going to basically disappear and CGI in the beer that was tossed, but the two tosses between like Keaton to body double to Keaton was so perfect they didn't have to cut the beer out. They just had to add in the dudes.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I was thinking about that.
So they called it
that's some real Lord of the Rings shit or whatever, as far as how they do those overlays of I guess different scenes or whatever into the same area.
Evidently, the special effects crew called it the $1 Million Miracle Beer Can Toss.
Nice. The one I was trying to think of, or whatever, by comparison, mentioning that shit, was that I don't know if you guys had seen the scenes before, but like where they're Lord of the Rings are in the Shire, and I think at one point Frodo like hands Gandalf his hat or something, and the thing is like they actually had to. I don't know if you guys probably know, but they filmed them separately because to sort of accentuate the height difference between normie people and hobbits,
a human and a hobbit.
And so they had to do some finagling or whatever to make that shit work, kind of stuff. And it was like a lot of the same sorts of things. I guess they were early started in this movie, which
I would say cool. Like this movie did kind of,
it used it a lot, actually, quite a lot more than I was expecting.
Paved the way for like the more efficient way of filming these types of scenarios.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like they handle it pretty. It seemed to me to be done pretty well. I mean, at one point, like the movie carries on with 4 Michael Keatons in the same room.
And can we just say,
shit,
can we just get this out of the way now? Even though it was 1996 CGI and all that stuff, like keeping the time, like I would say that the multiple Doug scenes hold up. Like they don't look shitty.
Yeah.
The only time I noticed something a little off in the film was whenever they had a Doug in the shot, but his back was to the camera.
Yeah.
And
like a glow or something.
Well, no, like you could tell it was a stand-in.
Oh, okay.
Like in the bathroom scene, like that guy was.
When he dunks him in the.
Yeah. Well, not even just that, but like there's a scene where he's looking at the guy, and he's talking to him, but you can tell that the back of him is different.
It's a different profile.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of like
it's
at
very
the end because I wasn't sure if Andy McDowell was talking to like proper Michael Keaton in the scene in the garage where she's talking to who she thinks is Doug, but it's actually Lenny.
Yeah.
Like the back of Lenny's head, it just the hair looked too dark to be like Keaton's, and it looked like it was like matted a little bit differently. So like that was one moment I was like, really, like why would this one thing look bad to me when you've got all these fucking scenes, and there's no reason why they wouldn't have had Michael Keaton as Lenny in that, because they have shots of him from the front as well as the backside, but the back shots look bad. Like I don't think it's Michael Keaton.
The scene where Lance blows the smoke into Michael Keaton's face. See, I thought that was a different stand-in as well, but then they do like a turn and then it's Michael Keaton, you can tell, but the back of his head looks really different than you would think, or I assumed. But I thought that was a different person, but it's when he did that little turn profile, then you could tell it was Michael Keaton. So I don't know. It's just really weird. Like maybe the back of Michael Keaton's head doesn't fit into our...
It changes shape or whatever, depending
it doesn't fit into our perception of what he should have.
I don't know, but to be fair, apart from like the way his hair looks now, the only thing I like imagine his hair looking like is how he looked like in Batman with all like the curly shit he had going on. So it's like I got curly Q and then like today's Michael Keaton's like head or hair in mind, but nothing in between.
So just to go over a plot of this movie, this is technically a science fiction type of comedy, and it is basically following Doug, a man who is pretty much overwhelmed with his work he's a construction worker or works for like a contracting company.
He works for a contracting company. He's like mid-level management, looks like, sort of. Like he's still going to the job sites. He's got multiple projects he's overseeing, but he still, can, I guess, essentially lose access to projects because it seemed like John Delancey's character, Ted, was kind of like he was trying to compete with him or something.
Yeah, and he was constantly just
trying to Ted was always trying to undercut Doug, and so I assume that like Ted and Doug were both like senior foreman or whatever the hell you call like that kind of role when you're not actually the boss. But yeah, so he's somewhere mid-management of a contracting firm.
Yeah, and he had his job pretty much neglecting his family. He's neglecting the house, which is still kind of under construction. There's like major construction needed.
He's like on the constant verge of burnout.
Yeah, there's still plastic up like over like sections of the house.
There's holes in the walls too.
Like kitchens are wreck. Yeah.
He's he's sort of he is a workaholic, but it's in the sense that like he doesn't have a choice kind of thing. Like he's just stressed out from everything and having to help at home.
Well, there's a scene whenever Andy McDowell and Michael Keaton are getting into what seems like to be the first fight to show that their marriage is struggling, it's in trouble, and
like the first like scenes there together.
Well, because like when Roland, you and I were watching it, when she says, "We don't need a schedule, we need a miracle," and you go, foreshadowing much. And then like right next scene when he's at the Gemini Institute.
Yeah, the Gemini Institute, and the doctor's like, we sell miracles.
Here we go again.
We make miracles here or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, look, an identical twin.
But then it became full circle again because at the end of the movie when Andy McDowell gets reintegrated into Doug's life, she says it's a miracle, like like a miracle happened. So it's like
their like relationship is some weird kind of confusing roller coaster. I mean, obviously, like by that definition, it's supposed to be fucking strange, but I mean, in that like it's so hard to understand how they sort of make these great huge arguments out of what seem to be like little baby shit problems or like sort of innocuous things. You're constantly like we don't get any, what I mean is we don't get any like introduction or segue into their problems. It's just boom, everything's shit kind of thing, real like from the beginning.
Well, you just take, the patriarchal mode and critiques of patriarchy and then just implant it onto that family. And then that solves everything because, she's literally like asking for permission to work. In the movie. Like,
it's definitely.
And apparently his opinion really matters whether she does or not, So so that's what I felt like. Okay, this seems to be like.
Yeah, the family
more like a traditional breadwinner unit, attempt or whatever, but it's family.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. It's almost has like the same premise, minus cloning.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar, but no, I don't think.
Because I mean,
Mr. Mom is the shit, Roland. You should really watch that movie.
I need to see. I need to look it up if I've seen it or not.
It pretty much takes the premise of this one where it's a mom who stays at home. And she's gonna go. She wants to go back to work, and he loses his job as I think he's working in a factory, so he has to stay home.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
supposed to work, and then hilarity.
And so I guess like the second sixth of the movie or whatever, where you see when he still just has it's just him and Doug 2, where he's doing all of the parenting stuff. Like that's all like just Mr. Mom stuff just ripped. I think there even was like a faux pas moment of getting the daughter ready for something in Mr. Mom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chasing the kids around and all that shit. That pretty much happens in Mr. Mom,
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I was getting some of the weird memories from watching this kind of thing. I was like, why did this seem? Because like again, like when I was looking at this and then before, I just remember it being very familiar for some reason, but like nothing popped through. And I'm getting that same sense from Mr. Mom, but maybe I actually did fucking watch it. I don't know. It's been so goddamn long. I need to look for that movie. Jamie,
if you're watching,
right? Can you just put like Jamie's face in the corner or something?
He doesn't because you're on it, Roland.
Yeah. That's, of course.
Doug meets up with the doctor. The doctor says they perform miracles, and he says, basically, what are they going to give him? They're going to give him time.
They create time.
Yeah. So at some point, he does ask him. He reveals that he is cloning. Doctor cloned himself.
Well, he goes through the, he's like, I cloned, a virus. I cloned a worm. I cloned. Was it a sheep or something or whatever? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there's some mid-tier and now, and then he brings out his clone.
Just so happens to be right on cue,
So. Which I was hoping there was a little bit more to that scene because we get no more of the doctor at that point.
No.
I wished for two more doctor scenes in this movie. One was when Doug 2 or Doug 3 got themselves cloned. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
And then the first scene where you've got the doctors that you wrote like, oh, there's a clone and it's him. I really think that there should have been a moment where there's a reveal that Doug is talking to 2 instead of 1.
Right. Well, again,
because 1 was the one that's kind of on vacation mode, or the second clone was like the Hawaiian shirt and like real casual and stuff. Had just been sailing off in the Bahamas or whatever. Yeah. Like, so I was like, that'd been cool if it's to demonstrate how, the clones buy time. It's like, this clone is so good. He is me.
Yeah.
He's doing all this shit and I'm off partying.
Do you think that the cloned doctor was the one that cloned number 2? Because they were like, hey, I'm a clone. You're a clone. Let's clone one of us.
That's an idea.
See what's up.
I like that.
Maybe.
Because I mean, I don't really think that the doctor himself, unless he's that just eccentric and crazy, like
you and I were talking about how by the definition of the clones, Ray, I don't know if you remember or not, that they'd be different based on their experiences, and that was immediately demonstrated or whatever when they were talking about how each clone of Doug had like a different facet of his personality almost,
right?
Which they didn't explore. It was just
they didn't. Like I was thinking that
they showed the Slav Doug, they show the sensitive, caring, neat freak Doug, and then Well, we really can't say anything about Lenny because he's just he's an aberration.
Child Doug. I don't know. He's the blurry Xerox, I think, or whatever it was they said. But like the Doctor clone and the Doctor clone or whatever don't have anything. Like they seem completely identical necessarily or specifically. So that's why
we only got like 4 minutes or like maybe 4 minutes total time with.
Right, but like when you see,
but it'd been cool it would have been cool to fill that out a little bit more.
Like when you see Doug 1 and 2, you can immediately spot the differences or whatever in their attitudes.
I did read somewhere that the initial,
and I didn't see that with the Doug.
In the initial script, the Dougs all had the same personality, but it was Michael Keaton's suggestion that they all have different personalities,
so that he could have an excuse to be the one-man Broadway show.
Yeah,
dude, he just does it all, and it offers so many cool like moments because in this movie, like you go, wow, well, Keaton, you got a range of acting,
Yeah, he's a goofy guy. It's great
because they're all supposed to be facets of the same dude, but they're very different dudes. It's really cool.
Based on how they're handling.
Keaton's a hell of an actor. Let's also put that out there.
Yeah.
And if you doubt that, listeners or viewers, just go watch Batman again.
Yeah.
Batman Returns.
Yeah, you'll have fun.
We can move on to. Well, is there anything else we should add about this movie? I mean, it's basically this. Like I said, the premise is we went over it already.
It's got a lot of fun little married type banter.
Well, so the idea is, I guess, just to wrap it up before we move on. Easy, I guess, simplest way to put it is, Doug received his golden opportunity to have more time to do the things he wants in life, and then things start going sideways.
He fucks it up. Yeah. He can't even enjoy his own vacation or whatever. He gets fucking trying to learn.
There's a thing that he didn't think about, the fact that there is going to be another person that's basically him,
right,
near in the vicinity of his living situation. In fact, he's above the garage in like a little badass looking up house.
Dude, that little like apartment thing was swank. I dug it.
And then of course he does it again, and then he has two of them, and his decision wasn't like thought through enough. So like he has to kind of just play.
It's very abrupt. Yeah, he like walks in and is like, "Hey, number 2, here's 3." Like
your friend.
This will do it.
Well, he did try to. I think there was a slightly clever line in that moment where fucking Doug 2 asked Doug 1 if he wants a beer, and Doug 1 goes, well, I'm gonna need at least another one.
Yeah.
And I think that wasn't because take it two ways, what we have to talk about, it's impactful, or hey, there's another one of us. Which I just thought was cool.
We'll move on to the science the science that is discussed in Multiplicity, and that is human cloning.
Yeah.
And in this movie, they pretty much take it very casually, like extremely casual.
Oh, it's extremely casually. It's like, like a bio 3D printer that they use. And they pull some blood from Doug and put it in a centrifuge. And then we see basically, a soup that a person forms out of. It reminded me, it reminded me of fucking The Flesh from Doctor Who, dude.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because they had that same like white soup or whatever, and life was produced from it. So when I was watching Multiplicity yesterday, I was like, dude, did fucking Stephen Moffat and the writers for Doctor Who during this era, like,
I don't know, low hanging fruit? Because I mean,
go, hey, Multiplicity, that was kind of a cool idea.
Because that story arc went dark fast. It was dark.
It went so dark,
fast, very fast. So that's the kind of shit I was expecting in this, which no, it's not. So yeah. That was
the demon known as Stephen Moffat was not involved in this project. So
What are they looking at?
We kind of talked about it briefly. Like, how much did the cloning cost him? Because if he's doing it so rapidly, like how much? Like, it seems very affordable to do it. And I was under the impression that maybe that joke that they make about, or that comment that he makes about it being they got a discount rate whenever they clone.
You got Lenny, yeah.
That was kind of just a joke, but like if he's doing it so casually and just It's just like going to the store, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the store and get a clone. I'll be back. And then he comes with it. Like, I felt like the doctor was just doing it for free.
What if the doctors, like, because technically it's doctors now, what if they didn't have a profit motive?
Man.
What if they really just wanted to make miracles and make time for people? You know, like maybe it was from a real, like, a good place that was coming out. So it's like, yeah,
well, I mean,
bucks.
I would say it's more than maybe or whatever. How do they meet exactly? The doctor or
well, it's because
Doug has a freak out moment or whatever because
Doug freaks the fuck out, because some of his guys fucked up a water line.
That's when everything's sort of like all of his frustrations and shit from everything that's been happening thus far in the movie just goes to shit, and then he has a mental.
Well, he's sitting there trying to like wring out his fucking floor plans and shit. Soaked wet, pissed off, and
and then so the doctor walks up on him, seeing all that, and just like, hey,
what do you do with your free time? Oh, let's play golf. Oh, how often do you get off? Oh, or get out? Oh, never.
I'm thinking that. What did he say? I'm thinking I might cut down a little on that too. Yeah. He's again, like I mean, I wanted to say that before, but like a lot of the dialogue in this movie is real subtle and just super.
It's dry.
Yeah, it's pretty very dry. Overall, it's great though.
I love it.
It's just very low, low easy sarcasm and everything. But so like I actually would say that the doctor was, trying to be helpful in this situation.
But if you think about it, the doctor could also be using Doug, because I mean,
he was using it as a guinea pig. That was a test subject, remember? I mean, that's how 4 came out or whatever.
Well, because
remember 4 came out or whatever, and they were telling him like, "Oh yeah, sure." We just said it that it sounds like a good idea of something to experiment.
I think that maybe that the doctor,
it's a mutually beneficial.
It's beneficial for him, one, because that can apply to any sort of research he's doing and more test subjects. Because at this point, I'm under the assumption as a viewer that the doctor has only cloned himself. Right at this point,
right? We have no way.
And from here on out, he sees
that
he sees that Doug is like a willing participant and just willing to kind of try it because he's desperate. Yeah. So when he does, he's kind of just like, "Oh yeah, Doug, come on in. Like I'll clone you again, no problem." And then I again under the assumption that the clone doctor, the doctor number 2, talks to Doug number 2, and then they decide, hey, let's try and clone one of y'all. Let's clone a clone, and then that's when we get money.
So it seems like the whole thing.
It just seems like something that can add to his research or for whatever he's doing, because he's not thinking of the consequences it's going to have on Doug and his family. He's just like, oh, he's willing, so I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, they think the whole situation is mostly harmless. Yeah, making all these clones, sending in the clones. It's like, no, it's cool, it's fine, it'll be great, don't worry.
But I'm also surprised that maybe that happens in the sequel, that the government's not involved in this, or maybe they are involved in this and they're kind of just allowing the doctor
the shop is so involved in this.
It's called the Gemini Institute, the institution.
Ooh,
a name that Roland, you had to make a comment about. You're like,
oh great. Yeah, I don't remember what I said. It was probably
I don't really remember what you said, but you were just like,
more shit.
Institute. You're like,
didn't get that joke, right?
Get the fuck out of here with that. I was
fucking twins, bullshit. Get out.
Yep. It's like,
is that kind of like what it means? Like,
so it's the
the twins,
the Gemini myth, the mythology, and the
right, so
constellations and shit. Yeah, the twins.
So basically, that whole institute itself, that's basically maybe all they do. They just clone.
Yeah, maybe
clone things, I guess.
Wouldn't it be great if it was just like it was like a Kickstarter thing or whatever, because they're still having the building worked on, and so the Kickstarter, the update should have been, hey, I cloned myself successfully, but he kept it like on the low just to keep getting funds.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah. No, he has a Patreon. There we go.
Oh, so the clone runs the Patreon. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, as far as like the actual human cloning, like in real life, not in film or cinema,
The sheepers.
Yeah, done the sheep cloning. I did kind of like scour the internet just
the main difference
for a brief thing as
to see where we're at.
Well, how much does it cost to clone a human being? Wow. And someone had put a number to it, and it was like close to like $60,000 or some shit like that. And they're like, well, it's kind of a hefty price to clone something. But there is a thing that I read also that there's a pet cloning. Or like, I'm sorry, it may have been more than human cloning, but there's pet cloning.
No, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Most people that are up their own asses or whatever with money to waste, they do that. There's a segment or something somewhere.
My cat Boaz, we all love her dearly, but we already know that she's a Lenny, and I don't need like a Lenny clone like cat.
Yeah. I forget what it is exactly. A lot of them either describe the pet cloning thing as like the son or daughter of the previous pet, even though it's actually an identical clone.
Now, I want to see if I can share this on the screen here. Give me one moment.
I mean,
there's a website called My Friend Again, the dog cloning company.
Oh, there it is.
I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Hold on.
I mean, good for them. Whatever, they found their niche. Some people really love their pets more than others.
So it says, my dog or cat has died, and it says pet cloning cannot be achieved without retrieving healthy cells from a deceased pet. If your dog or cat has died within the last few hours, please follow the steps below to preserve your pet's cells before it's too late.
You take two fingers and go right up their ass.
Zula was badass,
and like give it the claw.
And, it's weird that if like
so put your animal in the fridge, basically.
Yeah, well, it says if your dog or cat has just passed, then you must act quickly, as in right now.
Throw them in the fridge.
There's a 5-day window to successfully extract good quality cells from your beloved friend before the cells begin to deteriorate.
Dude, right here, keep the animal in deceased in a sanitary cool environment.
Do not place your dog in the freezer, right? Do not
fucking go at it with a saw off a fucking leg or something, or some shit with a knife, or I don't know.
Oh, you can download printable instructions for it.
Jesus fuck no way. Of course. Like I said, I'd seen it like a little, I don't know if it was a Vice documentary or article or some shit on that, and a while ago. Holy fuck, I'd forgotten about it. Aside from that, the main.
Oh, dude, this is grody though. You have to like cut your fucking animal though.
Well, yeah.
So
only the eyes.
I mean, ideally, you should have this stuff already prepared just in case if you want to do this. But
it's a bit macabre.
Well, yeah, some people I think have done it a couple times actually. Whatever.
It says cloning cannot
be done with just DNA, blood, skin, hair, teeth.
What's the cloning can
live tissue? Ooh.
Live tissue taken from the pet immediately after death.
Fuck you do. Wow.
The vet will then place your pet's biopsy samples in a container and ship them via next day air to our storage facility. The cells are then frozen and stored to a liquid nitrogen storage container. The cost to store your pet's cells is about $100 to $300 per year.
Oh, they're just giving it away. That's not bad.
Yeah,
a year?
Well, that's
want to basically pop out another version of it?
No, that's just to store it. How much is it to actually?
No. I'm just saying, like, as you're saving up your pennies to actually get it cloned, it's not a bad rate. It's not a bad rate for $100 to $300 for the entire year.
Now, yeah, Raymond Page, PhD, life and science bioengineering, and is that Minnesota?
Science bioengineering,
Massachusetts.
Life and science bioengineering. That sounds really hokey. Like I said, that's a degree because it sounds like a certificate.
It does sound like a certificate.
I took this online class, and bloom. Now I'm fucking
clone
Dr.
update.
Frankenstein.
I don't
Dr.
know.
Frankenstein. Excuse me.
Oh, the clone updates section is blank.
Oh, I'm sure their Facebook page is all kinds of
about my dogs. God, man,
those dogs look like they're missing a couple chromosomes. What?
Well, that's the type of dog it is, man.
I know, but it's still like they look.
I first cloned Wolfie. And received 2 clones. I named one of the clones Wolfie Girl and the other named Wolfie Bear.
Dude, those clones look angry. Those clones are going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Looking at this photo, dude.
That's
like
cemetery type of shit, man.
Yeah, dude.
Come after you in your sleep and shit.
That's so weird, dude. Wow.
Of course. Again, though, why pick these animals? They look like wet rats to me.
Yeah, they can only make dogs that are rat shaped in size. Yeah. They haven't gotten to like proper dogs yet.
Yeah, I guess not. That's just totally not nightmare fuel at all. Dogs running news and
news and articles.
Oh, sheesh.
70 grand discount. How much is it to fucking clone it?
Oh.
Holy shit.
They give you we live in the times of COVID, gentlemen, you know.
I'm about to get spammed fucking hard right
now. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
You're gonna fuck with the algorithm. Good luck.
Clone firm lures UK dog owners with $70,000 discount. That's insane.
It's a 70% discount.
It costs $100,000 to clone your dog.
30 grand.
Wow.
Discounted price to get.
Dude, that's crazy, dude. Oh man.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess we'll circle back to my $100 to 300 years just for storage. Isn't bad considering what it costs to fucking make one.
Yeah. If you're fucking around with something like this, yeah.
Well, that's the first step into actually cloning humans, and like you're gonna live forever if that's the case. Because I mean, like, consciously, would your brain continue on?
I forgot.
Be the same person. I mean,
the doctor made a chimp. He cloned a chimp, and then he got to humans. So I think he skipped the sheep thing.
Right.
Yeah.
He skipped Dolly. Yeah.
But again, like, if you're cloning someone or something, like, how much of that personality is still the same, though? Because I mean, a lot of you as humans and even animals, their personality is important. So I mean, if they are clones, are they exactly the same personality?
I think some of those cloned animals actually were a bit more. Some of them did have more aggressive tendencies.
Getting into the science end of it, it definitely wasn't clear why you would have all of the memories and experiences from one entity to the other,
because it's not the science way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, because you just
go ahead.
Can't scan a brain and just implant it, to my knowledge. I mean, the feds probably can.
The way the sheep cloning stuff works everywhere or now ish. I'm assuming it's probably something.
But also they make a baby, like they make a new animal.
They make a baby and it grows up like a baby or whatever. It's not boom. Yeah, so it's an adult. And so that being the case, they're gonna have a different
What a different movie, though, if you had, Doug playing this real long con where he's like, maybe in 25 years. But then all of his clones were like so much younger than him. So it defeats the purpose. So, yeah, it'd just be a different movie.
He just died.
Him like having like a nursery up in the fucking, the attic space of the garage. Going over there. Don't rule number 1, don't tell mommy.
Well, I will say this, like other films that do talk about cloning, for instance, I mentioned this to you, Roland, Replicant with Van Damme.
Yeah. I talked about the
like I'm pretty curious as to like the science in that as well. Like, how does that take, Again, that's not a movie we're going to talk about in this series. No. But maybe at some point we will get to it when we do
it's probably even more hokey than the science in this movie is, because I mean, for starters, but
but I mean, like,
it's a Van Damme movie. You're gonna,
exactly.
I can buy Michael Keaton telling his clone, saying, "Oh, you're the clone and I'm the clone." It's really hard to hear Van Damme. The movie's called Replicant.
Yeah,
literally tell his clone, he's like, "You're my replicant." Like, it's so bad,
Yeah.
But yeah, so initially in the real world scenarios, cloning isn't entirely fantasy.
No, it isn't, but it's also not really.
But human cloning hasn't been done yet, to my knowledge. But I'm pretty sure they've cloned like human cells or something like that. I'm pretty sure they've done that.
Yeah. I mean, like they can cells can be replicated
I think they're too busy trying to figure out cloned meat right now.
Oh yeah, so like using
to feed the people that are already here before making copies of people that are already here.
Didn't they do that kind of with the movie The Island, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, the clones are like on a separate island, and
that movie was so fucking bad though.
They're basically,
it was fun, but it was bad. It was Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Like, who was the chick in that?
I didn't like it at all.
Nah,
Yeah, it was.
I don't.
Although
I caught it as a twofer at the drive-in, so I don't remember what I was there to watch. But the island was not it. I went, fuck, I gotta watch this first.
The premise itself is kind of interesting, where like you have a clone version of yourself just in case you need that person's cells or heart or other organs. They just basically kill them and implant them into you. But in their minds, they're thinking they won like the lottery and they're going to go off into like some kind of world space. So basically, and then they find out they're actually killing them. And then that's where like the dilemma is and stuff like that. But in this case, your clones can move off. Again, how does Andy McDowell not ever find out about these clones unless she does and doesn't give a shit?
She does.
I mean, she does at the end.
She's like, you know how you really love someone when you see them in the face of everyone you see.
Yeah.
And let's talk about real quick that scene wherever all the Dougs get a crack at her in that one night. Like, if she were to find out about that, I mean, that could.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for marriage to be destroyed when they're all in the room.
Or whatever they called it. Four Guys from Nowhere Pizza. That's what that movie would become. That's part 2. This is Doug picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
With his
so that's what I was expecting. I thought there was going to be some kind of reveal where she sees them all and she's like, holy shit, I fucked all of you or whatever.
Well, it had been such a long fucking time since I've seen the movie, and I was wondering if it would be a thing where it's like they figure out some sort of like co-living situation where you had all the Dougs in the mix, you know, for the classic like happy ending approach.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, so we can talk about the actual sequel.
The Dougs Day Out.
The Dougs Day Out. And at the end of the movie, the 3 clones, Lance, Rico, and Lenny, drive off into the sunset and go down to Miami to create.
They make a pizza place.
And they even have Lenny delivering pizzas and delivering newspapers, which he does the same way by throwing pizzas into people's yards.
Yeah. So I have one condition for our sequel coming up, though.
Okay.
Lenny has to get a clone. Because he gets tired of just like not being able to enjoy the pizza, but having to
be like a straight up Habsburg child or something. He's just rolling around in an iron lung on wheels or something.
It's gonna be all the royals they don't talk about.
The royals they have in the dungeon. Someone
That's the kind of
the clone of a clone is the equivalent of like
right?
millennia of inbreeding and shit like that.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly what I was hoping for. One of them's got like a vestigial tail or something. The other's got like fucking gills behind his ear or some shit.
Yeah, Lenny needs a clone. Like, this is hard. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Right.
And he just disappears for a while. They're like, have you seen Lenny? No. He fucking somehow makes it back out to fucking LA. Or San Fran. Where they were in LA, right? For the main event?
They were in Miami. Oh, in the
no.
Geez, I don't really know.
Gemini Institute.
I thought it was like LA or
I thought it was
San Fran or something. I can't remember where the fuck they were supposed to be.
One of those.
California for sure.
Shit on the coast. West Coast.
Like a pitch for the sequel. So we have, like I said, at the end of the movie, the Dougs go down to Miami and make a pizza place. But I'm trying to, I couldn't really think of at that particular moment that I was thinking this, that there's a point in time where either the government finds out that there's Dougs on the run, you know,
the
like
Dougs file taxes. That could be the title for the second movie. It's all of the fucking.
The Dougs get audited. Yeah.
How do you get all the streams of income for all these dudes that are supposed to exist? And
they all try to claim each other as dependents.
That's true.
Well, and then that's how Andy McDowell finds out about the events of the first movie.
Yeah. Well,
all of a sudden the fucking IRS coming pounding on their door in Cali.
Yeah, like the regular Doug number 1 has to like come into contact with the old Dougs and be like, "What's going on? Like they're after us or something." Like the IRS is coming,
and then they're gonna be like, "Fucking Lenny trying to get a social security card. He fucked us."
That's another thing. Like, how did they get fucking
duplicate documents? Yeah,
unless they went to the doctor. And
the doctor says in one scene where like after he makes Lance, that he's like, "Yeah, just make him some like a duplicate ID." Again, that's it. That's
so is this still during the time when they had like potentially like paper license, driver licenses and shit?
Probably, yeah.
I don't know.
Like I don't know when they switched over to plastic. I mean, I've never had a paper one except for a learner's permit.
Yeah, me too. Or the temporary.
But that was also about a decade after the events of this movie. So
yeah,
I have no idea.
No,
I don't think so. I mean, I remember having some.
Well,
like,
I mean,
from back in the day,
or they would forge a plastic one, but it just didn't have all of like the watermark bullshit technology like all of those do now to like make sure
it's easier to get away with identity theft in those days.
You think they're using like Doug's social security and his information? Because like I
don't see how because they have to apply for like business loans and shit, so they have to.
But technically, I mean, if they're doing that, they could still use Doug's credit score,
right? But then you have like 4 like versions of the same.
Well, only one of them goes in there and does it. I mean,
yeah, let's be real. It's Lance. Lance is probably the one that does all the work and shit.
No, Lance is definitely the mover and shaker of that. Because he's the workaholic side of fucking.
Rico's the emotional slash backup support. Yeah,
because like, and I don't want to like use this as like a negative term, but definitely for like 90s standards, like that'd be like the effeminate side of Doug.
Well, yeah,
but I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on folks that like to do housework and make little cutesy shit or whatever, because I think it's cool and a lot of stuff like I tried to remember the fucking foil scene because like I've already used foil to store my stuff. Like,
right?
Was
and
it
he goes
Chuck Fold the TTF?
Yeah. He goes off on this wild ass.
He spends like 3 minutes mansplaining.
And yeah, exactly. And it's okay. We can save this.
We can save this for later.
Christmas, maybe I'll just roll it up and put it on the Christmas tree.
Make some tinsel for the Christmas tree. Yeah.
I'm like,
no air's getting dirt because air's our enemy. So it keeps on folding and shit.
Yeah.
TTF. Tuck fold.
It's fucking hilarious.
But it's also not even the fact that what he's saying, it's just the way he says it too.
Dude, it's the mannerisms, it's just because it's like the
different
kid who's never been like even in the threat of a fist fight.
Yeah, he's very soft spoken. I mean, like talking about it earlier when they all break the rule and sex up Allie's,
rule number 1.
What are the things she says when she's with Rico? She's like, "That's very unusual. I've never seen you cry before.
Cry that much, or cry that hard." Or whatever.
And then with Lance, it was like, "Oh, that was very, what did she say? Athletic."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to got kind of carried away," or whatever.
But we never heard the Lenny stuff apart from she touched my peppy.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, that was fucking great. Who was it? Rico was it Rico that was in the?
He's in the shower,
the shower, and he's like, "Fuck, we all broke rule 1 or whatever." At that point,
what's the way Lenny like when she pulls down his pants, she's like, "Oh, again." And then he like gives that like stare because he knows Rico's back there or some shit. Like,
yeah,
it's just fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, how do you think that this sequel, will
dude?
play
And
out?
think about the fucking just the mind game, like the mind fuckery that Andy McDowell had, because she kept on going like, "Were you wearing the same shirt?" But like, she's basically being like gaslit the whole time. Like, no.
Oh yeah, I mean, like at one point she full on slaps Doug. I forget all the other shit. She has like a couple breakdowns and like
this woman went
her emotionals are just all over the fucking place.
Doug could try to get some time to go sail and play golf. This is
basically
some
just
shit,
decided
man.
to mind fuck his wife, throughout this thing.
Multiplicity 2.
And it somehow like
what's her name in the movie? Nancy.
In the movie?
Yeah.
I
can't remember her fucking name.
Laura.
His name is Laura. It's Laura.
Oh, Laura. There you go. Yeah. Laura versus Doug, because it's the fucking court case where she sues the shit.
You know what? Like, I want to see where like the government is chasing after all the Dougs or whatever, trying to capture
people
them.
versus
Laura,
Kenny.
And bitter ass Laura has been tasked with bringing them in, and she's got like an eye patch and shit going in on the fucking. I'll make you pay. Whatever she's doing, like the Beetlejuice voice for some reason for the whole fucking movie.
What if you think about it? If like all the Dougs are revealed to her, I mean, she's gonna fucking lose her shit. Yeah. You know, and at top of that,
that's when the killing begins.
At some point, I would say that Lenny's probably the one that might
Laura becomes
reveal that they all got tagged. You know, Lenny probably reveals in some childlike way that they all tagged her.
Yeah,
and she fucking like flips the fuck out. She takes fucking Doug to court, like wants to divorce him. Mind you, the kid's already like,
yeah. Ooh. She ends up pregnant and has to figure out what happened, and it goes bad.
Oh,
and then,
it better be Lenny's baby, because that'd be fucking hilarious, dude. And then Doug having to like figure that out, you know, like shit.
Oh, you know what? Even the sequel, it could take on the sequel as a very basic premise, like they all kind of come back at some point because of the IRS, but then we find out that there's a third child in their life, and they don't know who it belongs to. But how would they find out since they all have the same DNA? And then at some point or another, she finds
out tries to build skis. They're like, "Oh, that's Lenny."
I was just thinking it would have been. Here's another one. I was just thinking if, like, they all come back and they try to reintegrate back in to Doug's life the way they were before. So like, Lance goes back into the work or whatever job. Rico goes back into doing housework, and that's when they start fucking up or whatever. Lance feels like what? All of a sudden it turns out Eugene Levy's character is the best fucking worker. And so he starts cloning that guy so that he can have his own workforce or whatever. Because doesn't it end where like Doug starts his own construction company or some shit?
He starts his own contract. He wants to start small or whatever. Yeah,
but I want to see clones of Eugene Levy going through there,
but
like showing up at like an hour late.
Go for that.
I don't know. I mean, he's the only one that knows. He knows.
No. Because when Doug got Eugene back, for the driveway.
Yeah,
and he's like, I've always thought
he was honest. He was like,
I thought you were the best concrete guy or whatever. And he's like, really? Like, no, there was just nobody else.
And there was no one else around. But hey, it worked out. I mean, great. So
here's what I say about if you're gonna propose that sequel, you don't have the Dougs come back, but like that Eugene Levy character finds out what Doug did. And then he goes to the doctor and starts cloning people. But that's a mediocre sequel.
No, fucking John Delancey finds out. Ted finds out.
But that's like an Evan.
Dude, that's like a straight up villain arc. All right, you're talking about some like Avengers shit or something.
Yeah, you get some fucking real strife in that second movie.
See, that's like a lower tier sequel. Like we all want to see.
Don't you lower tier me this? It doesn't even.
No, that's really that. Like his is good, but it's like you bold good or whatever. This is a really great idea with like the absolute shit execution kind of stuff. I don't know. Unless
people find out and then everyone starts making clones themselves, and then there's like an army of like clones in all scenarios. So you have the Dougs show up again, but mind you, maybe they show up at the last end of the movie where like they come in to save
the Dougs come to save the day, and you've got fucking Lenny in a tank.
You have Eugene Levy's characters like they're all cloned, and you have Ted's characters that are cloned. And all these clones got to come and like fight each other.
I want to see Lenny on his skis with a fucking like assault rifle or something. Just yelling at people.
That's all the movie that gets real dark, at the end.
Yeah, right. All the clones fighting.
Oh, holy shit! So they go killing clones, right? But they kill Doug, who they think is a clone, and Lenny survives, and Lenny has to go on a vengeance path. Oh,
but what if we find out at some point whenever they're killing?
I like machine guns.
Whatever we find out, they're killing clones that actually, if they kill a clone, they actually injure the actual original. Person.
That'd be
Is there something weird supernatural?
No, because you would have had
no
his nutting 3 more times that day while he was out on the boat.
Maybe he did.
That's why he was so sick.
That's why he was so sick.
He was so like empty of proteins and shit. He couldn't
Just
yeah, he just started vomiting.
That's stupid, but I like it.
I guess.
Or like he fucking sensed something's wrong as like they're all like coming that particular night.
I was just picturing
just on the boat, Laura, with all of his sticker on him on the deck and shit, and on the dog walking by.
I want to see
on the jizz.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I had one more scene that I was trying to think of that I'd like to see, and it's just like the last Matrix. I mean, not the newest Matrix movie, but the last of the first three, where like Keanu Reeves is standing in the street or whatever, and you see all the clones of the Agent Smith there, and like they're all just looking at him and shit. But I wanted that to be Eugene Levy, and they're just staring at each other, and I want to hear Eugene Levy say, "I am the one," or whatever, and then they can fight. Anyways, I'm done.
All right, so let's move on to the rewind. This is where we discuss our favorite scenes, the quotes, anything that we enjoyed about this movie, or stuff that we couldn't stand, you know. So Daniel, I'll let you go first. Is there any things you want to discuss on the rewind?
Rewind, definitely almost every scene with Lenny, but in particular, when he's making the fucking skis, and what is it? Lance is just watching him as he's like sick in bed with like bronchitis or whatever. Just like, what he's doing. It's just, that was brilliant. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's tough because this movie, like, it's fairly short, but it just keeps hitting you with just shit.
A lot of
and it's fun, like
moments.
But really, like, as far as rewind stuff, I think like any Lenny moment is fucking awesome. But apart from that, I just can't think of anything that really sticks out where I go, oh yeah, that's something to go back and think about.
Okay.
Just because it was just awesome seeing like Keaton play a stereotypical like mentally handicapped dude.
Yeah.
Like it was just fucking funny.
I won't say in that particular character, he kind of went full.
Yeah.
Well, I said full Simple Jack. I think.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Full Simple Jack works.
I'll give some of mine for the rewind. That one scene I think I mentioned to you, Roland, when we were watching it. Whenever the original Doug and Doug 2 go into the apartment up on the garage, and they see Laura. But before they see Laura, like they're talking about how they're gonna like destroy Ted and shit like that. I told Roland, I was like, man, I get about Beetlejuice vibes, like in that one scene, like where the way he's talking and the way he's like delivering his lines. Yeah. It sounds very Beetlejuice to me, and I thought that was fun. And the other scene we did talk about very briefly is whenever he's doing the tuck fold thing. Like, I just find that very funny. Yeah, and pretty much anytime Michael Keaton is interacting with himself, I find that very funny, especially whenever he goes up and he sees them having that party in the house. That's with those girls and stuff, you know.
Oh right, yeah.
Those interactions are very funny, and then that's when we get the reveal of Lenny, the fourth clone.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the funny moments to me that I enjoyed. Roland, is there anything you wanted to add to this?
Mostly all of the scenes where Laura is trying to jump Doug's bones and ends up with, all four of them kind of thing. I just thought it was really funny because it's basically she's just shotgunning from booty to booty or whatever, like in a night or some shit. I don't know what happens where she's just basically horny as hell and it's like, all right, here's one, here's two, here's three, and they were all fucking hilarious.
But I like how like they kind of like try to like.
Oh no! Like they really try to stick to the rule.
Completely,
because
she is just like
Rico is trying to play sick, and then Lance trying to play sick, and Lenny didn't know any better, so he's just like, "Hey, my Fippy."
I would feel hilarious.
I would like to give like an honorary like rewind moment to the scene where I think we really get an idea about how the clones are actually unique personalities, distinct, but part of Doug, in the scene where Lance, has them take away the porta potty that John Delancey's hopping in.
Yeah.
Like, just because you figure out, because that's something that, fucking Doug would never do. And I was like, the first hint where it's like, oh, wait, it's him.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, he's a little bit more aggressive, but like, oh, wait, he's a bit more like,
I think I told you a story,
direct or asshole-ish or whatever. But it's where you really get that, because you think that something would come to a head with Ted and Doug's relationship anywhere before that point.
Right.
I mean, I was expecting Ted to get his ass kicked flat out.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, but he's still Doug, so he doesn't want to like really hurt the guy, but he does want to make a bad day for him.
He does fucking hate him,
and just his facet of his personality that came into the being of Lance, if that makes any fucking sense, was the more, fuck you, let's get shit done, don't mess with me side.
Right. Yeah, that would have been great. I mean, it was.
But yeah, so I think Roland, is it your turn for those? I just wanted to
from those Laura's
the bones jumping scenes. Yeah, you like
misadventures.
Misadventures in Bone Town.
Yeah. I think that was mostly it. Oh, to end that segment, I thought Doug, number one was while his clones are off having a nice time, he's trying to vacation or whatever, and it's just absolute shit show. He's seasick as fuck and basically wasted his time out there.
And I think there's a lost opportunity there, or maybe I'm just misremembering. But didn't he? Because it felt at some point that he realized that he'd rather be on the boat with Laura.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. At the end,
like before they decided to like go try to do like that little Catalina bullshit or whatever. But like when he was out, like just it seemed like there was a lost opportunity, like potentially for like the growth of the Doug character, because he does come, pretty 180-ish towards the end of the movie as far as like the way he prioritizes things and shit like that. Like that would have been probably a cool little like lame learning moments or something, for lack of a better term.
He doesn't have any sort of half measure learning moments in this movie. It's always one extreme to the other. He's
right, but I think the sailing could have been one where where he's sitting there going like, "Damn, I miss being with my wife." The whole I need to get back in my life during that whole scene.
Right, yeah. At the end,
it could have been like a little bit more like leaning heavy on the wife and kids rather than kind of using them as like an afterthought.
I think it was
like soliloquy.
I think it was perfect because it was still in the end meant to be lighthearted, because like when he was talking about this or whatever, how like the captain there and his daughter were like, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. Good luck, and that's where I was like, haha, okay. So yes and no.
Actually, I'd like to throw out another honorary best scene for rewinds for that one line from Bill Murray's brother about we don't know what the hell you're talking about, because it's just the insanity of the situation. It's like confronted from like the outside, so it kind of like
it makes no sense.
I felt it like knocked on the fourth wall, but it didn't like break it. Like it just...
That's a fun way to think about it too. Sure, but that was pretty much it for me. So none of you guys saw this. Was this movie was in the theaters, right? I mean,
yes,
yeah. Natural release. I never saw it in theaters. I just caught it on HBO.
I didn't see it in theaters either. But this movie was a flop. They only made back half the budget because of the movies.
That's one thing I didn't look up was budget stuff.
What did it release?
Well, 96 was a good year for movies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he had the Nutty Professor that they were competing with. So I mean. You know how huge that fucking movie was.
Yeah.
The budget for this movie was $45 million. It only made back $21 million.
Damn.
So they didn't even make half of what they put into it. But like I said, they were competing with the Nutty Professor, and I believe Independence Day was still number one at the time.
Ooh.
And let's see.
Oh, it was 96, right?
Yeah, and they were doing they were having the Olympic Games going on at the time.
Twister, Mars Attacks, Scream.
Yeah, I'm looking now.
Fear, for the Frighteners. I don't know. I'm just going down the line. The cable guy. Oh shit!
Just looking around the time that movie was released, like you had the Nutty Professor, and you still had
fucking Eraser, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Rock.
Yeah.
The Substitute.
Fuck yeah. Oh,
Escape from LA. Oh shit.
Wallace and Gromit.
Down Periscope, baby.
Oh, The Rock came out that month.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same week, but because
Phantom, Jack, Dragonheart, fucking The Quest.
I saw The Quest in theaters.
Yeah, me too. The Time to Kill, Executive Decision. Damn, there was a lot of shit. If any of these are.
So I mean, it's not
Biodome.
Did Biodome come out also?
That's what it's
was that 96?
No, it couldn't have been. Google, you're lying to me.
Anyways,
I don't believe you. Broken Arrow. Damn. Chain Reaction. Matilda.
Biodome did come out in 96.
Fucking Kingpin. Space Jam. No way. This is not possible. They're fucking up. There you go, Ray. Tin Cup. All you, baby.
Oh yeah, Kevin Costner. Love it. So we'll go into the ratings of this movie. Roland. And what is your rating for Multiplicity?
I mean, I'm really not into fucking romantic comedies
at all.
At all. Like
I don't think you're into any element of romance in movies in general.
It irritates the shit out of me. But because I always think,
Roland's like, I dictate how I get my rocks off. Don't you tell me, Hollywood.
I'm not paying for that.
Don't tell me how to feel in this moment, Hollywood. You fucking bastard.
Me with any of your bullshit feelings. Hard pass. No, like I always think it's lazy writing to do something like that, or like easy bullshit plot devising. I did like this movie though a lot. I really want to watch this with like a nice, like solid dinner and some beers.
I think you have to come to terms with the element in here that is making it probably a movie that you do like, and it's because of Michael Keaton.
Right.
You know, Roland, although I do like your setting for watching it, but I'll tell you, on a phone with a few cups of coffee, that's also a good way to watch this movie. That's how I did it yesterday.
Nice.
Okay, so Roland, what was the number?
I'll give this a good old 7 out of 10. There's really nothing about this I don't like. Even though I did have a few. Yeah, I mean that, but it's like it's like everything else. It's a very light minor element sort of thing almost to the movie. The main thing is just clone Michael Keaton and see what kind of ridiculous bullshit happens.
Well, we did mention, Roland, that whenever the very beginning of the movie, whenever they're in the kitchen and the kids are all like crazy and shit like that, we agreed that this was kind of a motive for never have a family.
For never having kids. This is like, oh, absolutely. This is exactly what I want for myself. All of this fucking.
Yeah, I think your answer was like, fuck that.
All of that.
Typical, you know?
Yeah, and I would say that, yeah, like I think I got like I can't imagine like raising a kid, you know, like, you know, my daughter, you know, met her when she was 15 or something like that. So it's like,
that's what I'm saying is that like
it's just wild to think about like little kids.
That element of them like just making a bunch of noise. I mean, I see it every day at work, and like it really is a deterrent most of the time. But so 7 out of 10 for you, Roland. Daniel, what did you give this movie?
9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. Right.
I absolutely love this movie. It's just, I would give it a 10, but there's just, you know, a few moments that I brought up. I wish there was a little bit more, you know, just, you know, even if it's just a tiny bit of exposition, just a little bit, you know, 1 or 2 more lines in a few scenes would have really just tied this whole thing together, you know, but I don't mind rom-coms too much, you know, because I don't really think this is a rom-com. I think this is more of a sci-fi fun movie. It just has, you know, a romance element to it.
It's more of a, that's,
you know, family man.
I was actually thinking it was just more of a straight up comedy with sci-fi and romance. Yeah.
So I just have a couple, you know, reservations here and there, but where it's just, you know, as just, I guess the nerd that I am, I wanted to just, as I said, just like 1 or 2 more lines here or there, depending on the scene, and it would have really made this movie a lot better, and would have been just a 10 out of 10 for me. But this movie fucking rules. Like, I was so excited when I remembered this movie existed. You know, just
As for myself, I'll give this movie. I'll be right in the middle between you guys. I'm gonna say like 8 out of 10. I will say this does leave me wanting a bit more of the story, a bit more of the narrative regarding cloning and the doctor.
Yeah,
you wanted more drama and tension.
Well, I just wanted more explanation from the doctor, pretty much of like
how this is supposed to work. Yeah, particularly. But do you think that was because we were watching this movie with the idea of weird science and trying to explain the weird science in our episodes?
Yeah,
right.
Like, affecting your assessment?
No, I don't think so, because I will say that as we've been going through this series, and again, we just kind of just think of the theme and kind of just roll with it. Yeah. Every scenario that has come up in these movies, they're all different types of science. We talked about flatliners before this, and that had the near-death medical element to it. And we also did a weird Road Genius that had to do with like lasers. And before that, we did
Weird Science itself, which was essentially cloning.
Well, not even like cloning a human, but like creating a human, Frankenstein and a woman out of it. Like,
creating life, period. Yeah. And then
give this hottie
short circuit, and that had to do with like robotics and sentient beings and all that kind of stuff. So in this case, I just wanted
cloning, dude. Okay, so all right, cool. Just like
we have been jumping
in
around.
The lens that we've got, like every film has had a different take on weird science.
Yeah.
Where this one has probably been the most lacking in explanation of how things are supposed to work. You know, because even though we get that cool, like, you know, cloning scene where we see, you know, the blood go into the centrifuge, and then, you know, goop body coming up out of the bog, and then you have a Keaton clone. You know, the only one that was probably like that did a poorer job as explaining, but it did a great job of visually explaining how it worked, was fucking Short Circuit. You know, the lightning bolt made things go wrong, you know, and
what do they call it? Spontaneous emotional like generation or something like that.
Some bullshit like that. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel that, Ray. I'm still not going to change my rating in any way, but I understand, like,
I'm just, that's where I'm going, like, with my particular rating. But as far as like everything else, like the dynamics of Michael Keaton versus Michael Keaton versus Michael Keaton versus Michael, like,
brilliant.
I love it.
It was brilliant.
I like Michael Keaton, and majority of the things I see him in. I can't really off the top of my head name a movie where I didn't like him in the movie.
No, me neither, actually. Nothing comes to mind.
And I mean, Michael Keaton has starred in like classic movies throughout history, movies that I love: Batman Returns, the other guys where he plays like this really weird character, you know,
Mr. Mom, dude.
Mr. Mom,
no, fucking
Beetlejuice, for fuck's sake. But yeah, so I would say 8 out of 10 for me. Not a perfect movie, but very, very enjoyable, fun movie. So was there anything else y'all wanted to add about this movie before we sign off?
No.
No,
it's a cool movie. It's definitely like worth checking out.
I kind of wish that we did this, you know, maybe something we could play with in the future, but where this bit starts our episodes. So if we have the case where we've got somebody listening to it and they've never seen the movie, you know, they go, what the fuck is this? At least get kind of like our initial impressions and maybe even rating before we get into the fucking discussion.
Yeah, we can.
So the conversation doesn't come up, because my bit of what more about this movie is really fucking go watch it. You know, if you somehow like watched this entire thing without seeing this movie prior, which we applaud you for listening to our bullshit on it, but really watch this fucking movie. And if you've seen it and watched this review or coverage, watch it again. It's a fucking great, fun movie. Like, it's just so good.
All right, then. As always, if you are listening on any of the podcast platforms, please leave a review. Right now on Spotify, you can leave a certain amount of stars. 5 stars will be preferable. 4 stars are okay.
YouTube, you can't even like us anymore. That's bullshit.
You can dislike on YouTube.
You can't dislike.
But you can't see it.
But they
want to protect Joe Biden.
You know, but I mean, like, what?
Bullshit. Crybaby.
Welcome to Valley Strange episode.
If you are watching on any of those, rate and review us. If you are on Apple, please leave us a review, maybe a 5-star review if you can. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We do have all that kind of stuff down below.
Yeah, and related to our other programs when it comes to comments, even if it's a shitty review, like on our Valley Strange, what was that one dude just said that we came off sounding like idiots or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that shit just makes us happy because really some feedback, but then
Yeah,
also,
they were
but when you make a comment like that,
dude, like, are you fucking kidding
I
me?
have to wonder if you actually listened to the episode because we're very clear about us not being experts or whatever.
Absolutely
we're just
not.
three dudes talking about something.
Talking about some irritatingly confusing.
We are
that you either
like
how are you gonna sound smart or whatever talking about
idiot savants.
Yeah. You either sound
of the
like
paranormal and
like you've lost your goddamn mind, or you sound like a tin hat guy or whatever kind of stuff. So
I mean, if you want us to wear tin hats, I'll do that. That's fine. You know?
Oh,
I want a MoQuest.
actually, one of the most interesting tin hat things I saw recently on the conspiracy subreddit was something to the tune of you know, maybe they put the stigma on tinfoil hats for a reason.
Is it you need to rap a bad rap or what?
And so everyone's just like, oh man, I need to go put it on immediately.
At the very least, you can block off all those 5G rays or whatever. It'll keep you from getting the COVID.
Nah, dude, makes you feel like got ants, dude. It's
it's ants now?
Well, no, it's people who have been hit with some of the militaries, like military writ large, like their like non-killer weapons, like the crowd dispersal stuff. Like people have like claimed that like that felt like their skin was on fire, and that has been linked to 5G. I still have yet to finish the answer from David Icke. I've got about 100 pages left, so I'm waiting to see more of the 5G COVID stuff that he talks about. But yeah,
my mistake. Course corrected.
Just make sure that if you do want to support us in any way, there are many links down below. You can do that. We have PayPal, you have Patreon. We have merch as well. More stuff that have come out. So at some point
we'll the merch store. Yeah, it's got new stuff, and I want to put an order. I've had like quite a few evenings where I've been like half hammered, and you know,
I need me
gels in the piss. Or I was like, oh, let's get internet stuff, and like, should I order some MoQuest swag? But then I go, Ray could probably get it at a discount though. Because it's like our shit, but I'm like half hammered. Like I want to buy this. Like,
we do have that the cryptid law face mask.
That's right. I told you I wanted one of those.
But hey, don't you guys remember back to our Valley Strange episode? COVID doesn't exist anymore because Putin cured it.
But I want to wear a mask.
He cured it with bombs.
Yeah,
I want to wear a mask.
Oh yeah, I'm
forever.
Yeah, that's never gonna stop.
Just do it, man. Like, just be like, I heard there's a flu outbreak. Yeah. Oh man, I heard there's a. And
anytime then someone asks, like, I'm sick.
Yeah, get the fuck away from me. You're too close. I'm sick.
But yeah, that'll be it for us. We'll see you on the next CineKuest video where we discuss the Lawnmower Man.
Fuck yeah.
Lots of shit. All right.
See you next time.
See ya.
Peace, dudes.